With critical focus on the Nigerian economy, we see the bigger picture. Business Express on Smooth 98.1.
Studio. Because it's time for us to talk business inside of Business Express 981, and that's the hashtag on Twitter. Go to Smooth 981 FM Lagos and follow us. And catch Rotus here.
Yeah, catch all the ads.
With Segun and Ugo.
Catch all the ads.
Money's gotta be made.
Oh, goodness. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, everybody out there. Valentine, are you still giving out numbers?
Yes. WhatsApp is 0809-444-0981. Hashtag Business Express 981 on Twitter.
Thank you, sir. Ugo Dre of NairaMetrics, Mr. Segun of ARM. Welcome, gentlemen. We don't have time. Let's just hop right into it. The MPC meeting is starting today. So today and tomorrow, they're going to be meeting, discussing price stability, inflation, macroeconomic environment. Segun, what are we looking forward to?
Essentially, we're still expecting them to do the same thing, just maintain status quo as they have for a while now, because they have a lot of things to consider on their hands. So based on our own estimate, we are looking at about $37 billion of maturing bills actually maturing this year. And if you estimate that about 30% of that actually belongs to foreign investors, so that's about $11 billion. So it is a play of where will these funds go to if they decide to take rates lower. You can see what's actually happening in the US. I think the US Treasury note is actually around 3.1% now. It's actually raising so much this year. So it's actually showing that there's a prospect of further rates hike in the US, and that actually speaks to the monetary policy. What are they likely to do to actually keep these funds here? If they lower, there's a lot of issues around what that could mean for the currency and what that could mean for the reserve. But if they leave it at where it currently is, there's still a prospect that some of these funds might want to stay here rather than going out. So the MPC is within a tight rock. So they have to look at a lot of things before they make this decision going into the year. So it's something they really need to consider. But based on our own estimate, we think they're actually going to keep rates where they are.
Okay, and Lagos, you guys do check out the Smooth FM Twitter handle. We retweeted an article from Mr. Benzorik. He used to be a regular guest on the show, but he's been busy lately. But he has a very nice article there, I think on his LinkedIn page, where he's written about what he thinks is going to happen and how capital flows have been decimating, if I should use that word, the number of emerging markets. Ugo, what do you think about what you expect? Are you in line with Segun? No change, or you think?
Yes. No change. The inflation rate is pretty much down. So one would expect that, maybe the CBN might just pity us and reduce NPR. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. The world is a little bit in turmoil. People are a little afraid. Markets are spooked. Not sure of what to expect. So the CBN, for the CBN, I expect caution. And I think they also sort of increased rates last week as well. They sort of mopped up liquidity as well because they were a bit worried about what was happening. And I think the Naira, the exchange rate kind of shifted a bit. And of course, most emerging markets as well are experiencing lower exchange rate compared to the dollar.
Right.
So the CBN is looking at this and have one eye on it. And I know that, look, we're not there yet. So 14% NPR is probably going to be with us for a long time.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for that. So that's what we expect today and tomorrow from the MPC. We'll get the announcement sometime in the middle of the afternoon tomorrow with our dear governor telling us what they've decided to do. All right, let's move on to this article in NairaMetrics. Reasons behind the Fitch B+ rating for Nigeria. Ugo Dre, what are we seeing there? The Fitch has given us a B+.
Yes. We have a B+ rating. Not that it's that good. Basically, what Fitch is saying is that, look, despite some of the positives that they're getting out of Nigeria, we're still not yet out of the woods. Right, oil prices look up. It's about $80 plus now, but Fitch pretty much knows that if we have another headwinds again in the oil price, then back to square one.
That's all.
We haven't actually in quote diversified the economy as much as we expect.
Shout out to Dio. Dio loves that word.
Yeah, so they know that there's been some positives over the last few weeks. Over the last few months, but negatives still remain. And there's one number that points out to me here that was, that Nigerians should actually just look at. Right, so debt to GDP is still about 20%, but debt to FGN revenue is estimated at 623%.
I saw that. When I was holding the piece of paper, it fell out of my hands.
We are owing 6 times our revenue.
As much as we bring it.
So I think I would like to create a caution around that debt to revenue.
Yeah.
you don't pay your debt with your 1 year revenue.
Right. It's over the course of time.
Yeah. So if you do your debt to revenue, you're actually overstating things because it's not expected that you're going to pay this.
But Segun, those are Greece numbers.
Yeah, they are.
That's
no,
Greece.
But people use. I mean, like you have. If you're going to get a bank loan, for example, right? So there's a marker the bank uses as well. They use debt to revenue as well.
Yes.
Basically, debt to revenue is just showing how much earnings you have. It's like your debt service coverage ratio. Do you understand? Yeah. So to do that. So the only thing is that I don't know whether 623% is too much or whether it's too small. That's the thing. But it looks quite a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. All right, well, Segun, go ahead.
If you want to look at that, okay, you should just look at what is our debt service like.
Okay.
This year,
that's the ability to pay over the course of time, right?
So that is what you look at. What is your debt service? What is your revenue this year? How will it cover? But when you look at your debt to your revenue for 1 year, don't forget your debt. Some of them are like 20 years.
Right.
And you're looking at 1 year.
Euro bonds and so on. Yeah.
It's really but looking at the debt to GDP of around 20%, I think it's still fairly. I think we still kind of compare favorably to other countries. I think I've seen countries around 50% within Africa. So I think we still good, but they need to be cautious. They need to be cautious on how much they actually borrow. If these borrowings are actually being put into things that are actually going to drive development, I think is something we can actually still go by. But just because of the way borrowings are in Nigeria, these things are not being utilized well. That is why we have issues. So the problem is actually debt management, not really the borrowing. If you really borrow and you're managing it well, I don't think we have an issue. So 20% debt to GDP ratio, I don't think is a really
but see, that's why I like this show, because that debt to GDP is what the government likes to parade around. So that's why we have Ugo Dre and people who tell us, look, it's not only that you should look at. Also,
there's also debt service to GDP. Close to 40% as well, which a lot of people think is actually high. Right. So like debt to GDP is low at 20%, and just like he said, the worry for a lot of us is what exactly are we using this money for? Right. So are we using it to pay salaries and recurrent expenditure and make our senators and House of Rep guys feel really cool, or are we using it for a lot of the things that we need in this country, infrastructure development? Right? Are we building roads? Are we building hospitals? Investing in education and a lot of those stuff. So that actually is not happening now. So that's why a lot of people are worried that look, we're just creating debt for our future generation, for our children.
Benga Kamo has a question here on WhatsApp. It says, what's the essence of the MPC meeting since nothing changes and interest rates remain the same? I want the rates to go south.
Benga, you're a man after my own heart. I've been calling for rates to go down.
They also want to hear their policy statements. It's very important that you listen to them, and that gives an idea of what they think is goes out. So it's important to also gauge their sentiment. They're very, 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 very smart with the way they write sometimes. These things. So you have to really read between the lines to see what they're trying to say. And if you're very, very keen, you would see, you have a read the tea leaves.
Francis needs advice though. So what's your advice on forex trading?
Gentlemen. Hey, YouTube, did you catch that? YouTube, did you see that? Segun just shook his head.
Adrenaline pump, like if you're pumped for adrenaline and you like high speed trading, right? You love risk, and you can have like 4 screens, just like we were having this.
You have to have a high threshold for risk.
Then fine, you can go into forex trading. But if you don't, if you're just one passive guy out there who just likes to
live it alone,
and you just hear people invest there, please don't go there. Even if you have a regular 9 to 5, don't go there.
I don't want to shit them. There's a anyway, let me leave it alone. I think Valentine knows what I'm about to talk about. There's somebody anyway. All right, moving on. Be careful with forex, please. Real quick, CCNN, Cement Company of Northern Nigeria, Segun.
So this is an addition to what they currently have, and this is actually being funded single-handedly by Boa Group. That's the parent company of CCNN.
How much did it cost?
About $350 million.
$350 million.
26 billion in Naira. So we believe that given the structure, since CCNN didn't handle it, what we are looking at our own end is that there might be a structure for them to transfer that asset to CCNN. So we look at if they want to do a debt structure. What we are looking at, if they do a debt structure, what we are looking at the value of CCNN actually going to around 38 Naira, 32 Naira, 83 cover. So if you're looking at it around 24 Naira that it fell to on Friday, it still looks at there's still a upside if you buy that current price. It's still looking pretty good from where it is currently.
So you like CCNN, yeah?
Yeah, CCNN. So
Ugo Dre, you like CCNN?
Yeah. It's been on my watch list for a while. Waiting for it to dip. It dipped 8%, I think, during the week. So I'm hoping that maybe it could dip a bit more, so
you can get in.
CCNN is up 421%.
Wow.
1 year. Last 1 year. So that's an incredible return.
Something to be excited about.
So if you've had that stock, man, you're
chopping. You're chopping.
P ratio is still at 7.9. So still a little bit of upside in there.
Ugo Dre, Bola seems to agree with you. He says the debt to revenue ratio is very valid because it definitely shows how vulnerable we are to shocks. Do not forget our revenues are largely from crude oil, which is externally driven. We need to keep tabs on these numbers before we run into trouble.
Bola, thank you for that.
Kind of scene.
A minute 30 seconds, real quick. Sterling Bank. It seems like they are transitioning to a holding company. Ugo Dre, what's happening there?
So quite surprising. They have a new management there, young CEO, hoping that he can do a lot of stuff. So he's come with his own ideas. Trying to shake things up a little bit for the bank. It's been a tier 2 bank for a while. At this lower end of the tier 2 bank, you want to see them, shaking up at the higher end of the tier 1 banks. But it's a strange move, though. I think we only have 2 or 3 holdcos.
First Bank,
FCMB, and Stanbic. So a bit of departure from the normal. I don't know why they want to go into
but the thing is, they don't really have much to hold as to say. So what they are currently banking on is the Islamic banking that is coming on board. And they also have the commercial bank. So I just putting something on top to hold the commercial bank and the Islamic bank together. Because even the commercial bank alone is accounts as a group.
Okay.
So they have this SPV, that's Sterling Investment Management. So we actually they did a commercial paper in 2016. They bought into government bonds. So that is what the bank, the commercial bank holds. So I don't think it's enough for them to want to go.
It'll be interesting to see.
I don't really
how
see
things turn out.
What the strategy for the whole. I don't know. They have one heart strategy like that. It's right. They call heart. Health. I think education, agriculture, stuff like that. Yeah, which they plan to basically expand on. But Holdco will be interesting to see what they plan to do.
All right, Ugo Dre of NairaMetrics, Segun of ARM. Thank you guys so much. Lively discussion this morning.
Very lively.
All you guys out there, your messages drive this show. Thank you so much for all your messages.
And so apt for a Monday morning.
Yes.
If you lost or you missed out on the details, go to youtube.com/smooth91FM.
Pointing at the camera right now.
And catch the replay there. Coming up next, guys, is frankly speaking with Muyiwa Falabi. And right after that at 7:30, detailed analysis and news on the papers this morning inside of Freshly Pressed. Smooth 98.1.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Great show, gentlemen.